Kevin here on the jlandkev channel, just kind of going off on about a rambly thing. A lot of you might disagree with me, but I don't care because I'm going to share my opinion here. Now, every case is different. This is a case-by-case kind of situation. But right now, like I'm for the next 2 weeks, really only a week, I'm teaching in public schools in Japan. And after that, I'm on to the world of private education. Right now in Japan, I mean, I know a lot of you probably have the image in your mind of like these strict schools with like students being punished and disciplined and kind of militaristic type discipline. But that's a thing of the past. Every school is different. Every school is a different situation. But some are not so good, and it's really windy, and there's nothing I can do about that, guys. And I'm using an iPhone, so there's no wind suck for that. For example, well, basically what it comes down to is teachers, believe it or not, I used to think that teachers in Canada didn't have any power anymore in 2014. But compared to teachers in Japan, they do have a lot of power because they have things like detention and suspensions, which they don't have in Japan. Kids can just do whatever they want, especially let's look at like junior high school. They can do whatever they want, be as bad as they want, and there's no repercussions, and they absolutely know that. And there's nothing, all the teachers can do is yell at them, and that's it. Now, it's a two-way street. A lot of it comes down to behavioral management. Japanese teachers traditionally ruled by the rod, so they ruled using corporal punishment. And now that they don't have corporal punishment, they have no idea how to basically run a classroom in many ways. So there's no concept of building a rapport, building respect. Well, some teachers do. I've seen a few, but they're the minority. Most just yell at kids. Yell. We know that doesn't work. Kids become deaf to that. Just tell kids to shut up, be quiet, you're stupid, this kind of thing, which is ridiculous. So very ineffective on the part of the teachers. And the kids know that. The kids don't often respect teachers because the teachers just yell at them. When they see it's like fighting the man. But you get some kids who are real bad apples. Not many of them, but some of them really stand out. And since you can't punish the kids, what I think would be good sometimes is if you punish the parents of the kids. And not all parents, because sometimes, we often say that, like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Or I heard on a podcast, I was listening to the What Say podcast, dicks raise dicks. So often when you get a kid who's a real dickhead, his parents are dickheads too. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I like that, dicks raise dicks. Sometimes there's an exception. You get a kid who's a dick and, the parents are nice. But when you have a kid who's causing problems, like assaulting other students, bullying other students, breaking things constantly, like every day, like just, vandalizing school property, and they know he's doing it, he'll admit to doing it. And then you bring in the parents, and if the parents are like, fuck you, and that's what happens. There's a few cases I've seen where literally you get a couple of kids who just, every day they're vandalizing the school, breaking windows, setting fires, destroying things, just being just horrible, shitty kids, man. When I say shitty kids, I mean they're old enough to know better. They're in their teen years, right? Sometimes you get parents and the parents are like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What can I do to remedy this situation? I'm saying bad words. It's really hard to cross the road right now. So sometimes it's really, some parents really are like, oh, I'm so sorry, we'll do what I can to remedy the situation. But other parents, you bring them in and they sit down with like teachers and the vice principal, and they're literally like, fuck you. And they're like, my kid's not bad, my kid doesn't do anything wrong, it's your fault. Obviously then you know the reason why the kid has turned out the way they do. In a case like that, I think the parents should be punished. So kid breaks a window, parents get charged for it. Parents don't want to pay, litigation, sue them. Alright? Kid hits a teacher, assaults a teacher. If he's too young to be charged by the police, I think Japan 14, so a 13-year-old can, assault a teacher, and I've seen it before. And you get some pretty big 13-year-olds, you get a teacher, a female teacher who's maybe, 5'3", 5'2", 100 pounds, 90 pounds. You get some big 13-year-old punch them in the side of the head, it's going to do some damage. Well, and the police, and the way it is with the police here, the police are like, we can't do anything about it. You have to deal with it. Sue them. Get litigious, man. Get American on them. Get litigious. Sue the parents. Sue the parents. Sue the parents. Make them pay. Then maybe they'll learn a lesson. And if not, well, at least you've made their lives more difficult, like their kid is making everyone else's lives more difficult. But it would be nice if they had such a thing as alternative schools. That would be cool. There's no such thing in Japan, apparently, from what I've heard. I mean, there might be in other places, but where I work, there's no such thing. I've talked to teachers about it. I've talked to the principal of the school, and I've explained the concept of alternative schooling, and they say there's nothing like that. So, I mean, it's a two-way street, but at the end of the day, I mean, you know, massive education reform has to take place here. But the way things move in the Japanese culture, which is wonderful in many ways, but it's more bureaucratic than anything you've ever imagined. I don't think there will be any kind of reform anytime soon. But there you go, just rambling, ranting and rambling. Kevin here on the jlandkev channel. That's what I do. I take videos, I shoot them in one take with the iPhone, I upload them to the interwebs. And there we go. Guys, check out the links below, okay, before I go. Check out my Patreon campaign. You know I have the Just Japan podcast, which is everything you want to know about Japan. If you feel you can in some way support the Just Japan podcast in any way, or my content creation endeavors to make them better, go check the link below, patreon.com/BusanKevin. I'm burping, sorry, that's kind of rude. Alright, so guys, again, check out the Patreon link, my Patreon page. Some wonderful people out there have already pledged to support and make what I do better. So thank you so much for those of you out there who've done that already. And okay, I gotta go because I gotta go home. Gotta eat dinner. All right, laters.